Welcome to the PokéVet Surgery, where we take care of your Pokemon that look like everyday pets. I'm your host, Gym Leader Mia, and in this series we'll be looking at Pokemon designs based on domestic species in the real world. It's a spin on your usual top 10 or 5 of a specific type, looking at species that should be grouped together rather than types. Since I'm a vet student, I thought it would be fun to look at species that one might find in a hypothetical vet clinic within the Pokemon world. Our timeline will follow Pokemon based on fish, pocket pets, birds, reptiles, cats, dogs, farm animals, and so forth. This series is in honor of our favorite Pokemon breeder Brock that went on to become a Pokemon doctor. A lot of children yearn for a pet companion, and their parents usually start with small responsibilities to see if the luxury doesn't wear off. Feeding fish is a common first step in becoming a responsible pet owner. So today we'll be looking at designs based on fish. Fishbowl or aquarium kind of fish, not manta rays or sharks or marine mammals, just plain old fish. I loved going to the beach as a child and couldn't get enough of the ocean. Now that I'm older, I can scuba dive and discover all kinds of different creatures of the deep. Ever since I started watching the Pokemon anime, I was mesmerized by water Pokemon just as Misty was. Their beauty, their strength, and their creative designs. Just looking at the Pokédex the other night, I was taken aback by how many good water Pokemon designs there were. Then, when I finally got my first Pokemon game, Sapphire, I realized that water Pokemon were great in battle as well. Usually in every game I play through, I have 2 water types in my team that are dual type, a few shown on the screen right now. There is one missing though, and that Pokemon is the only fish-inspired design that I ever use when playing through the game. Stay tuned to find out who it is. Number 5. Coelacanth. I like the effort they put into the research of this Pokemon. For those of you that don't know, Coelacanth is based off the Coelacanth, which is similar to Coelacanth's Pokédex entry in the way that it is unchanged and thought of to being extinct. The Coelacanth was rediscovered on the east coast of South Africa, which is where I am from, making it a forever special Pokemon design. I think living fossils are really cool because obviously there's something about them that's really strong and resilient for them to have made it over millions and millions of years. Number 4. Magikarp. Magikarp has such a bad reputation for being useless. Even the Pokédex is mean to it. Red and Blue is the kindest, and even that's not very nice at all. Well, Magikarp made it on this list for various reasons. The obvious one, of course, is that it evolves into Gyarados, which is beast. It's intimidating, fierce, and ever-present in the anime. I also like that Gyarados was the only water type that Misty didn't like and had to overcome her fear in the Chronicle series when taking up her role once more as the Cerulean Gym Leader. The reason why I like Magikarp for being Magikarp is that it doesn't do much, and that's why it got its bad reputation, but it's great surfing to a location, especially in the Hoenn region, that you want to get to and not be poisoned by all the Tentacool floating around, and you can't always run from Tentacool, whereas Magikarp you can get some easy experience from. Yeah, not a lot, but you can get experience from it, and it doesn't poison you, which I think is great. So yeah, Magikarp's not the worst encounter in the games. Also, it's always in the anime in form of Team Rocket Submarine, and James' struggle with that con man, I don't know if you guys remember him, the man that kept on promising him all these great things and then at the end gives him a Magikarp, and James didn't have the patience to evolve it into Gyarados. He should have, because then maybe Team Rocket would have a win every now and again. Number 3. Feebas. Feebas is comparable to Magikarp that it doesn't look like much until it evolves into something majestic. Other than Magikarp though, it's rare. And elusive, annoyingly elusive. There were no special events hosted to obtain Pokemon like Jirachi or Deoxys in my hometown. So discounting those two, Feebas and Milotic were the last 2 I needed to complete the Hoenn back in Generation 3. In Aros, it's so much easier to catch a Feebas, and the Prism scale makes it a joke to evolve. But in the original Gen 3 games, the struggle was real. With Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald respectively, My friends and I went fishing on Route 119. Finally, one of the boys caught a Phoebus. What a moment of celebration for such a seemingly ugly Pokemon. He wasn't interested in raising it, so he traded it for me. Since all of us had played hours and hours after the Elite Four, we had no berries to make high-level beauty Pokeblocks anymore. The original problem was that we already fed Phoebus heaps of Pokeblocks in hope that it would, in that little star, still raise the beauty enough, but just needed that extra boost. We fought the Elite Four countless and countless of times to raise Phoebus' experience, but every level up was disappointing. It just stayed that. Ugh. Only years later, when I moved to Australia, I managed to find a lumberry. Or maybe it was a palmterberry. Palmterberry. So on that fateful Saturday morning, tears came to my eyes as I leveled Phoebus up and saw the most beautiful, majestic moment of evolution ever. Years of work, great distance, and tight friendships got this ugly soul to bloom into a majestic Milotic. I even had a Milotic cake for my 18th birthday to celebrate the achievement, but it was more to symbolize that you will be rewarded for never giving up on the things you love. Number 2. Remoraid. Remoraid is number 2 for being present in some great episodes during the Whirl Island saga, which is definitely worth watching and is at the moment available on Pokemon TV. And the other reason for it is that it has a really cool symbiotic relationship with Mantine. They depend on each other for evolution, for protection, and it just puts a bit of a twist in the game to get that extra Pokemon on your Pokédex. As an Octillery, there is an episode that follows the sweet but sad story of how an Octillery struggled to relate to his Remoraid friends after evolving. I still remember its sad sound. The Remoraid episode that left an impression on me, though, was about an ancient people that used up all the natural resources, turning the flourishing area to dust. A bit of a Lorax reference. In present day, an old man wants to draw mysterious lights in the sky that appear and disappear in the same area, which intrigues our young heroes. In the end, it was a school of Remoraid using Ice Beam and Water Gun, making the beautiful colors, as well as flooding the drought-stricken area. We are currently experiencing a rainy season without much rain, and the earth is dry and barren. So this episode is touching to see how water can bring life back to drought-stricken area. And number 1, Lantern. Lantern has such an emotive face. It's hard not to crack a smile when seeing this deep sea fish. The first time I saw Lantern was in the Mantine Overboard episode in Master Quest, again in the World Island Saga, where Ash and Co find a baby Lugia. That alone was very intriguing, proving that there's not just one legendary of a type. And Lantern formed a part of that fascination for me. Looking at Lantern's Pokédex entries, we see the following. Lantern is nicknamed the Deep Sea Star for its illuminated antenna. This Pokemon produces light by causing a chemical reaction between bacteria and its bodily fluids inside the antenna. I like that biological reference, I always do, because I like animals and I'm studying veterinary science, so I have that fascination about ecology and biodiversity. But then we get to its Soul Silver entry and it's a lot more sinister. It blinds prey with an intense burst of light. With the prey incapacitated, the Pokemon swallows it in a single gulp. Not really the friendly Lantern that you see hugging Lugia. I suppose it's based on an anglerfish, and you remember Finding Nemo, they're quite awful looking. But except for that scary image, I still like using Lantern, especially in my Soul Silver game. It was a key component of my team. Like I said, I love dual types. I'm not a big fan of electric types, so this was perfect for me, having a water type that can use electric moves. And that just makes Lantern my number 1, because I actually use Lantern in its evolved stage in my team. Thank you so much for visiting the PokéVet Surgery. If you liked it, Please leave a like or comment letting us know what you most enjoyed about this episode. Hit that subscribe button to see what we get up to at the gym with the Crystal Badge. Making quality content that you may not have come across on YouTube is what we're about. So let the battle for the Crystal Badge begin.